Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, if 2x squared minus 4x minus 2y equals 16, what is the value of f of 2? Okay, so we're looking for the value for f of 2. So what does that mean? Well, basically, they want you to evaluate, let's write it down over here. We're going to evaluate my equation, right? When x is equals to a 2, okay? So we have an equation, and the equation is, I want to write it down over here, 2y equals 16, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to solve for y, okay? So let's do this. Since I want y to be alone, I need to move everything else, right? So let me go ahead and highlight the y, which is right here. And that way you know that that's what is going to stay on the left, okay? So what I need to do first is I'm going to subtract 2x squared. Now, if you want to do everything at once, you may do that. And I'm also going to add 4x on both sides. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing both steps at once, you can always do one at a time, okay? Just remember that whatever you do on one side, you need to do it to the other side, okay? And that cancels my x squared, and it also cancels my x. Now remember, the way that you cancel is by adding or subtracting whichever operation you're doing. Okay, so the 2x was a positive, so that's why I wrote minus. The 4x was a subtracting problem, that's why I added. Okay, so now that's going to leave me with negative 2y equals, and I'm going to write down in descending order with the highest exponent first. So I'm going to write down negative 2x squared plus 4x plus 16. Okay? Then I am going to divide by negative 2 because I want to leave the y by itself. Now notice how I am going to divide by negative 2 each term on the right side so that it can help me simplify each one of them. Okay? So negative 2 divided by negative 2 is a positive 1, which means y equals, right? And I'm going to divide negative 2 divided by negative 2 is a positive 1, x squared. 4 divided by a negative 2 is a negative 2, so I can write down minus 2x. And last, 16 divided by negative 2 is a negative 8, so I can write down just minus 8. Okay, so now that my y is by itself, I can write it in function notation. Okay, function notation means that I am going to replace my y, I'm going to replace the y with f of x. Okay, so this is going to be f of x equals, and then we write down the rest of my equation. I just change the y to f of x. Why? Because I need to evaluate f of 2, which means that I am going to replace f and the x. I'm going to write down a 2. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to change anywhere where I see an x with a 2. Okay, so this will be 1 parentheses 2 squared minus 2 parentheses, write down the 2 minus 8. Are we good? Okay, so basically what I did is I replaced x with the value that they wanted me to replace it with, which is a 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. So I'm looking to evaluate my equation at f of 2, right? So 2 to the second power, remember you always do exponents first. It's 4, right? Because you multiply 2 times 2. And 4 times 1 is 4. Next, we're going to multiply negative 2 times 2, right? And that's going to give me a negative 4. So I can write down minus 4. And finally, we write down the minus 8. Okay? So if I work on my problem, 4 minus 4, it's 0. So it cancels, right? So I don't need to write it down anymore. So I'm going to have f of 2 equals negative 8. And that will be my answer. Okay, so let's check on the answers that we have, answer choices. And we see it on B, right? So answer choice B is correct.